I just seen an angel talking for Hacked Off all about how they're going to get the Daily Mail and they are going to swoop down like a pack of seraphim and attack the devils that are the Daily Mail, and how the Mail have abused women. And I don't know about that, but it sounds pretty bad what Grace has been through. It in fact matches my story of being burglarized for Daily Mail remittance advices when I worked for them as a journalist. It includes being threatened to have cocaine planted on me, threatened to, you can do it the nice way or the nasty way. So let's not pretend. This isn't all about money. And when two titans fight each other, which is celebrities versus the Mail, the kind of group of celebrities that are behind Hacked Off fights the Mail, I don't think it's a case of good versus evil. I have certainly seen some really appalling behaviour. Hacked Off tweeted that I had helped Sienna Miller get her payout, have full copies of that, and I made my lawyer take copies just in case someone said, oh, that's a forgery. They tweeted that, and thank you for that. But Graham Johnson, I don't think, got the memo and posted all over line that I had rung her GP, and so did Chumsy Jim Waterstone in The Guardian, and others. I've had, same as Grace, I've had somebody set on me as a romantic figure, romancing me, taking me out to dinner, and the same kind of treatment as she's had. I've been harassed. It put me under the GP. I'm now suing the BBC. The BBC are working in cahoots with Hacked Off. I don't know, is that supposed to be allowed? Does everybody that buys a license for the BBC, do they all hate the Mail? I don't think so, because isn't it the middle classes that like the Mail? I mean, I particularly like the Mail. I'm working class. We have to work for whatever middle class person deigns to give us a job. So all these people that pay their license for the BBC, do they actually hate the Daily Mail? And isn't there some celebrities that actually like the Daily Mail? So I don't know. I think, I've been treated absolutely like dog poo. I believed everything Graham Johnson said. Help the good guys. We're the good guys now. Be one of the good guys, Christine. You didn't even want to work for the press. You were a victim of them. You were a front page story that Phil Hall wrote. The lies that you were the daughter of a serial killer. Let's get on the good side now. So what did I do? Followed him to the good side and found myself burgled, fake romanced, stolen from, lied about online. I rue that day I came over to the angels to help. I've had nothing but completely ruin my livelihood, ruin my life, ruin my son's life. I've been bullied by the BBC. That put me under the doctor. My son's been affected by it. And he is now no longer studying history. He swapped to filmmaking because he wants to get his own back on this individual that he heard bullying me and putting me through it. He absolutely hates him. And he said, Mum, he said, I'm young. And when he's old, I'll be young and I'll be at my height. And I'm going to tell the world what he did to us. So that's what's coming. So all this, we're really good, and the Mail is really evil. You're just men, and you're just men out to crush anyone that stands in your way, because what you want is what? Oh, do you want goodness? Do you want a better world? No, you just want money. So why don't you be honest with it? I mean, you've done really well when it comes to PR with putting out that really pretty guy with his soft little voice. He reminds me a lot of Ken Irwood, an ex-CID officer I work for. I've worked for ex-CID officers. I've worked for ex-MI6. I've worked for Michael Oatley. I've worked for Stuart Paul Robb. But according to Tina Brown in her book, I work for sleazy London agencies. Well, what has ex-CID, what's Ken Irwood got to do with sleaze? What's Michael Oatley got to do with sleaze? What's Stuart Paul Robb got to do with sleaze? So that means I've been bullshitted about by Johnson, that's gone to Tina Brown, And do people that behave like this, that completely retell my entire narrative of my life and push me into feeling pretty bad about things, do they deserve to be called the good guys? Because women don't matter to them. And then saying in that video, oh, women don't matter to the Daily Mail. Women don't matter to you. I'm guessing Grace is working class, and that's why she got the shitty end of the spoon. I've been called in the papers by you guys blagger. What the hell does that even mean? I'm a Sunday Times best-selling author with Hodder and Stoughton. I used to be a private investigator. I was a journalist, much bylined in the Sunday Times with an NUJ press pass. But you what, say blagger? Why don't you just go all the way and call me a see you next Tuesday? Why don't you do that, you men? And then you bleat on about how much the Daily Mail abuses women. Why don't you just take a sip of your own medicine and be honest? Why don't, instead of putting some angelic looking guy with a little soft, little sexy little voice up there to sing your song, why don't you put someone dark up there who's just going to say, oh, we don't like this. We don't like this. We want some money off you, the Mail. Not all this. We're angels and we're now against the badness. You know, because there's people out there, I don't care for either of you people, but there's people out there that actually like the Daily Mail. There's celebrities that like them. There's people that like them. And they don't appreciate the Daily Mail being called devil. I mean, I'm not one of them, but I'm sure they're out there. And there's people that watch the BBC that aren't happy about the BBC getting in bed with Hacked Off. Clearly you are. You took my statement about Doreen Lawrence and you used it for evidence when you filmed it. Now, I didn't want to give evidence. Well, if I was asked to give evidence against the Daily Mail, I would certainly have to think about that. I would have to think about my position in life taking on such a big organisation as that. But I was tricked into giving evidence against the Mail. I'm just a woman alone with a child. I've already been burgled over this. Sure, I believe in compensation and people getting compensation, but I like to be told. I don't like to be hoodwinked and honey-trapped into, oh, you're giving an interview with the BBC. It's to help the good guys. You're on the good side. And next thing, I'm being bullied and harassed and accused of things over Sienna Miller. I've got a journalist, apparently he was a journalist, with the BBC under his email, ringing me constantly, withholding his number, screaming at me about Sienna Miller, this Sienna Miller. You've made her suffer. And at the same time, I was seeing Sienna Miller in Tatler magazine, wound round a young guy called Oliver. How is that suffering? And how is that, she's getting over her trauma now. And you did that to her. I didn't work on that so-called job. Has nothing to do with journalism. Absolutely nothing. Celebrity shit, which is meaningless. Sadly, there's people out there that care about these people. I most certainly do not care about these people.